Ah, T-67, good luck, have a good fight, awesome! Just another day in World of Tanks here, guys. So, yeah, so we're on the Mannheim line, and I'm in my IKV 103, which I have aced, I just haven't gotten around to making the video yet, but we're just gonna go north, and it looks like we've got a T-67 platoon, who are very, very nice, and we've got an ELC, Panzer 3J, Lago coming over here, Panzer T25, and STRV M42, so lots of support in the north, and our T-67s are, well, they've obviously doing damage to each other, seen something on YouTube, seeing such an awesome position. This is a maybe, I don't know. Now our T25 is going there, and our other tanks are hanging at the back, and I need to get into position, but okay, alright, alright, well, we'll leave them to it, because there are targets ahead. We are going to speed it up, because, okay, Ram 2 in the distance, and a nice shot in on the Ram 2. We'll finish him off if we can. There we go. Alright, so there was a Cromwell and a KV-1S here, but, you know, I've got plenty of support. We've got an STRV moving up to support me now. Lago, Jagdpanzer, 2 T-67s and a T-25 in at the back there. Going to be able to support from that position. Bit of a derpy gun, this one, but miss a shot in the Cromwell. Go for a blind shot, and now there's a KV-1S moving up, and that's not good. Why is a KV-1S up on the north flank? But it's okay. 2 T-67s giving us support from behind, and as soon as this KV-1S moves up, they'll be able to shoot him. Come on. No. Good T-67s, you gotta shoot this KV-1S when he pokes. That's what the position is for. I don't have the gun depression. This is not good. Come on, T-67s, he's coming, shoot him, please, shoot him. Okay, he's just taken out the STRV, he's just fired, and now there's an M7, we put a shot into the KV-1S, I'm looking, where are the T-67s? Give me some support, guys, come on, give me some support. This is going, oh, yeah, derp gun, yeah, T-67s. Why no support, guys? Seriously, why no support? Oh. Oh. Yeah, okay. Hi folks, and welcome to the Ace Tanker for the Stridsvagn. Where are you? I've lost it! There it is! The Stridsvagn L-60, or the Landsverk L-60. This is Sweden's first tank. Okay, yes, okay, no, I know technically it's not Sweden's first tank, but it is a... first tank was the LK2, or the Stridsvagn M21, but that was a German tank that was simply assembled in Sweden in 1921. This is the first Swedish tank that was built completely of Swedish components, designed in Sweden, built in Sweden, and therefore became Sweden's first, technically first official Swedish tank, built from the ground up, and it was very, very advanced for its time. You'll notice that it has no rivets, so this, or very few rivets, I noticed a few around the turret there, but this was a tank that was built out of welding its plates together, which, you know, most other tanks that were being built at the time were still using rivets. It was also a tank that didn't have viewports or view slits. You'll notice no viewports on the tank. It used periscopes for the driver, for the commander, so more protection for the crew. It was also very advanced in that it was one of the first tanks to use a torsion bar suspension system. A lot of the other tanks that were being built around 1934, 1935 were using Christie suspensions, but this was using a torsion bar suspension system, which I believe, you know, was more reliable and easy to repair. Yeah, it was quite advanced for its time, and it's a tank that's quite close to my heart because it's also Ireland's technically first tank, although, as I say, historically it's actually the second tank Ireland bought, but yeah, we'll get into that in a moment. There were roughly about 220 Landsverk L-60s built in different configurations. There were 4 different variants of the L-60 built, mainly each variant differed from each other based on the gun it was using, or maybe some modifications to the turret, but essentially they were the same tanks, and about 220 of them were built. They were, some of them were exported, which is where it comes back to what I was saying being close to my heart. It was designed in 1934, and in 1935 the first L-60 started rolling off the production line. There were about 220 built in total, but two of the very first ones that rolled off the production line were sold to the Republic of Ireland in 1935. So started rolling off the production line in 1935, and one of the first ones that rolled off the production line was sold to Ireland. And then we went back 12 months later, and then we bought a second one because the first one was performing so well. And the two tanks that Ireland bought were for the Republic of Ireland are still in service today. Well, at least not in service, but still in working condition. One is in the museum, but it's used for spare parts to keep the other one working. But the other L-60 that we bought is still in perfect working condition. It remained in service in Ireland up till the 1960s before being retired. But it's still working. You still see it on military parades. You can go to the Irish Tank Museum and see the L-60 in action there. So yeah, it's a very, very close tank to my heart. As I say, technically the first Irish tank, because it was for the Republic of Ireland, but historically not the first tank, because the first tank was a Vickers Mark D, which was built for the Irish Free State. And if you're familiar with Irish history, basically once upon a time we were part of England, and then we were unhappy with that situation, so we became a free state, which is much like the way Scotland operate and Northern Ireland operate. They have their own government, their own assemblies, but they still answer to England. So we were like that for a while. We bought a Vickers Mark D, the only one that was ever built, and then we had a War of Independence and basically became the Republic of Ireland eventually. And then, as I say, these became our first tanks. So yeah, L-60, very, very close to my heart, and I'm starting to blather on here, but there was one L-60 that was sold to Hungary, and that L-60 was designed, or changes were made to that tank, and it eventually became the Taldi. Hungary bought the license to build the L-60 from Sweden, and basically ended up building the Taldi, which I still need to review, which I still need to talk about, but we'll get around to it eventually. But yeah, the other history for this tank is it's quite interesting, because in 1956, 20 L-60s were sold to the Dominican Republic. So really, it was still in service up till 1956. 20 of them were sold to the Dominican Republic. And then in 1965, they saw action in the Dominican Republic when the United States invaded. So the Dominican Republic had L-60s in 1965, and the Americans had M48 Pattons. So obviously that didn't work out so well for the L-60s, but regardless, after that conflict was over, the US helped the Dominican Republic rebuild its army. They actually rebuilt 12 L-60s for the Dominican Republic, and those L-60s remained in service with the Dominican Republic up till 2002. So this is a tank that was in service right up till 2002, and right up to today, one of the only other L-60s that was ever built is still in perfect working order in the Dominican Republic. So if you want to see one of these in action, you can either head to Ireland or you can head over to the Dominican Republic, and you can still see an L-60 in working action or working order. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the history. And the L-60 led on to the Stridsvagn M31, Stridsvagn M39, Stridsvagn M40, tanks that you may be more familiar with in World of Tanks as you move up the Swedish tech lines. But this was the Christmas gift for 2016, and when the Swedish tanks were first announced by Wargaming, I was very, very surprised that the L-60 wasn't on the list. I mean, I was looking through the light tanks and the medium tanks, and there was no L-60, and I was going, how do you introduce a Swedish line and you don't have the L-60? But the answer was that it was always planned to be a gift tank. So Tier 2 premium gift tank for Christmas 2016, and which makes it the second Swedish tank in the game after the Tier 6 premium. But we've just moved up. We're here on Mines. Now, this is kind of a strange game. This is a very, very strange game, because this is one of the older Ace tankers. I finally got around to recording it, but I've moved up to a side position. You can see we've got a machine gun, and we managed to take out the Light 6C. Enemy Arty is focused on me. It's a 20mm. Yep, no more shots here, but I know Arty is aiming at me, and it's a dangerous little FTBS and a Lloyd gun carrier, and I know how high those things can shoot. So I spend most of this game, as I say, it's a little bit strange, because I spend most of the game reacting and not really forcing my will on the game. So, I mean, I've only picked up one kill and I've had to abandon my position because basically there are no targets up there and also RT's focused on me. So, I've moved down here and I'm going to try and get spots. So, my crew aren't particularly good. As I say, second tank that was introduced into the game, and I don't have a very good Swedish crew in it. And the gun, we keep on coming back to the gun. 27mm of penetration, 12 damage. So, as a premium tank, obviously, you can upgrade the gun. So, the gun is okay. It is okay as long as you come across lightly armored targets. We're just going to work on this tier 1, and we're getting shot from a guy from stealth in the bushes over there. And as I say, I'm reacting. So I got hit, I'm hiding, and I've basically been trapped here in this corner because someone is at the back there. They're blind firing. They're in a bush, probably double bushing me, and I'm never going to be able to spot them. So I came down here to get away from RT, but now I'm in another tough position. The team are kind of collapsing. We're losing 3-7, and I'm really not doing anything. So I figure I've got to get out of here. There's no point. I can't advance, and then there's one of the little buggers that was blind firing me, but I've just got to keep going and hope I don't get hit. Yes, I've been spotted. Actually, I just realized Sixth Sense did go off, so maybe I do have an okay crew in this. Maybe it was played more recently than I thought. But, yeah, okay, we're going back, we're moving back. It's been a long time since I actually watched this replay, but I do remember I was surprised it was an ace because I'm just reacting. I got into a bad position, had to run away from Artie, got into another bad position, had to run away from tanks. Now we've moved up and we're just basically going to work here on a Tetrarch. And you can see that the burst damage is quite nice, the reload is very good, the penetration is okay when you're shooting against lower tier tanks, but it can be a pain in the butt if you're fighting against, you know, R35s or H35s or anything that has armor. The L-60 is going to have a problem with. The mobility is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. As you can see, we're doing 45 kilometers an hour up here, going up the hill, and again, I'm simply reacting. Our team have managed to pull it back to 7-9, but we're still technically losing. And I've got a spider sense tingling. I'm wondering, has anything been advancing along the 7-8 lines? Is anything in the north of the map? Do I go check, do I go look, or do I simply move up and try and get some spots up the front? So I decide we'll go get some spots up the front. Okay, so now we've spotted one of those. Okay, we spotted both RT. Lots of enemy tanks suddenly appearing on the mini-map. We've got to move down, see if we can support them, and our team are just going to work. So I'm not getting any assistance, I'm not getting any kills, and we're able to pop around, get a little bit of damage done, but I know that the FTBS is no threat because basically he's too close to shoot me. And then a Leica tractor appears in the north, or a Licht tractor. So yeah, I was right, there were tanks up north, so we're relocating, see if we can get eyes on this Leica tractor. But yeah, as I say, this entire game is just me reacting. I'm not imposing my will on the game. It was very strange. And I didn't feel it was going to be an ace, but, you know, a couple of bounces hit tracks on the Leica tractor, but managed to sneak another couple in. I do get spotted, and I'm a little bit worried that the FTBS is going to be able to hit me from here while I'm in this position, but looks like we're taking out a Panzerjäger 1. We've taken out the Licht tractor. And we've reloaded and we're going back, and there's the FTBS. So just 3 tanks left on the enemy team, so we've finally pulled it back to a situation where it is 4 versus 3. FTBS is taking fire. I'm wondering, can I get anything out of this? We're just going to drive past. Now we bounce our first couple of shots, but then take them out. So the Stridsvagen M38 is behind us. So once again, reacting. You know, I don't have a game plan here. Red dots are simply just appearing on the map, and I'm driving around towards the red dots. So the Stridsvagen takes out our, what was it, Su-18. So I've moved up and gonna try and get some spots. So 2 tanks left on the enemy team, and there's the medium one, and oh no, this is gonna hurt. Yes, he has spotted me. This is gonna hurt. Thankfully his first shot went into our tracks, but you can see the reload here. Quite good. He does 71 damage, but he has no armor, so we're able to take him out for kill number 4. And all that time, while I was waiting for my tracks to come up, I'm wondering if this Stridsvagen M38 in the enemy team is going to kill me, but no sign of him. Yeah, I'm a little bit hesitant. I don't want to lose this. Our Leica tractor's moving up. He's got more hit points than I do, so hopefully he'll spot. And there we go. This is why I retreated from the bush, because Stridsvagen M38 is not a inexperienced player. He's blind firing the bush where he knew I'd be, and that's why I wasn't there. But he appears, we get some shots in. We're able to shoot through the bushes, so we remain stealth, and you can see we're bouncing a lot of shots here, and it doesn't look as if I'm going to get the kill. Get a little bit of assistance, but no, he's behind rocks, so it looks as if the like tractor is going to... No, it was the STRV M31 on the hill that gets him, but yeah, very, very strange game. Okay, so this game was played in mid-January, not as early as I thought, so not terrible, but just the ace, no other medals. First ace of the tank, and only ace in the tank. I haven't stepped in it since, but it's okay. The problem is it's tier 2, and the problem with tier 2 at the moment is there's a lot of overpowered tanks running around, there's not a lot of map variation, and I just don't find lower tiers fun, but we did manage to pick up the ace with 747 XP, 500 damage done, and 4 kills, and that was enough. And kind of surprising, but yeah, it was a very, as I say, weird game. I basically spent the entire game running around, putting out fires left, right, and center, got myself into a couple of tricky positions, but our team managed to pull it out in the end. So 102 shots fired because it's pretty much a machine gun, only 54 hits, so about a 54% hit rate and 44 penetration. So penetration shooting most tier 2s, shooting tier 1s, not too bad, but it can, as I say, it can cause problems if the enemy tanks have armor in any way, shape, or form. We spotted 4 damage, 7, did 106, or destroyed 4, did 169 assistance damage, and that's pretty standard matchmaking for lower tier. You can see that the repair costs, the ammo costs are next to nothing, the 15,000 credits, and it wasn't my first game of the day. I was actually playing it to ace it, so, you know, giving the tank its first run out because I started the Swedish tanks quite late. And yeah, this was actually the first Swedish ace I picked up. I actually picked this one up even before the tier 1. So, L-60, finally happy to get it up on the channel. Finally got an answer as to why it didn't appear on the list of tanks for Sweden when Wargaming announced the Swedish tanks, but as a gift tank, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. I know a lot of you guys will probably see it as a spare garage slot, but it's not terrible. You can have good games in it. It's mobile enough. Gets no armor, the gun depression's quite good, and the gun is alright as long as enemy tanks don't have armor, but yeah, it's not terrible, and I think it's worth keeping, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, I'll see you next time.